Artificial Intelligence weekly updates, Friday, July 18th. Every week we're doing these updates. So the theme for today is what to choose, Claude Code or Cline. Cline is extension to Visual Studio Code, which I personally use and like. But many people are raving about Claude Code, so I delved into it, and I'm asking if you have an opinion, please under the video provide your comment, your opinion. Anyway, and we'll start with this. What is better, Cline or Claude Code? So Claude Code, you started with the terminal. In fact, let me go to this cheat sheet. This is on GitHub to show you kind of things you do. So you install it, it's npm, so it's a node package manager. You install it on your computer, you see Claude minus version, and then you can run different commands. So for example, you say Claude, summarize this project, right? And it will look at files on your computer and it will give you a summary. There are a lot of commands you can do. Sometimes there are a lot of options. So if you're heavy Unix user and you like to give commands like this, right, or like this, so it gives you certain power because you can script those commands together. But Cline can do same thing, and Cline is more for a human. Some people noted here. Claude Code also allows to pause. Just a second. Okay, users. There was somewhere saying that people find, yeah, here, credible user reports that Claude Code sometimes misses subtle bugs or hallucinations more than when using Claude in Cline. So both in Cline, which is extension for visual, you know what, let me just show you, hold on a second, how it works. So I go into one of the repositories, let's make it a little bit bigger, and just a second. So we recently worked on a website for tractors, so I'll show that. So here is the website. It has prompts and it has the website itself. So if I go into the website, you will see some HTML files, styles, and some JavaScript, whatever. So I will open Visual Studio Code in this directory, and you see the files, and I open Cline, and I actually was doing this before. I asked it, please summarize this project, and it went through some thinking, reading the files on the drive, and then it tells, okay, this is this website, it has product catalog, it lists these products, these are the features, technical specs, development tools, and so on. So it has access to the files, and everything that Claude Code can do in a terminal, Cline can do in Visual Studio Code, but in my view, it's much more pleasant. It does its own testing, it has its own logic, it has very big system prompt, which it follows. So my recommendation personally, definitely just to use Cline in Visual Studio Code. And by the way, they're working on adding it to JetBrains like PyCharm, for example, NeoVim, if you're a heavy Vim user, or even in the terminal to CLI. But anyway, please pause the video if you're watching it and provide your opinion, your recommendations under the video. Next, Moonshot AI Kimi K2. So Chinese created DeepSeek, which was and is 671 billion parameters, and this is similar model but even bigger. It's 1 trillion parameters. It is also MOE architecture. It's similar to DeepSeek, in fact, but it has some innovations. One of them is, for example, Muon optimizer, which is so good. PyTorch announced that they will be adding them to main PyTorch library. So it has up to 2 million token context length. It is state of the art. It's a really, really great model, and it's available. It's open source. You can run it. And it's much, much cheaper So you see it's 6 times cheaper than Grok-4 or Claude Sonnet, 25 times cheaper than Claude Opus, 25 times. Well, it's a little bit slower, like twice slower than Claude Sonnet, but if you run it on Grok platform, it is almost 200 tokens per second, so it's really fast. And because it's open source, Grok provides it. There is no direct extension to VS Code, but you can run it from Cline using several methods like proxy. One of them is using Open Router. So this is the list of largest open source models. Well, there is Llama 4 Behemoth, which 2 terabytes, but 2 trillion parameters, but it was never released. It was used as a training model for smaller Llama 4 models. And the Kimi K2 becomes the largest open source model released. It's released by a company called Moonshot AI. Next in size is DeepSeek R1, 671 billion. Then Llama 3.1, and there is also Llama 4 with the same size from Meta AI. And then Tulu is just fine-tuned Llama 3.1. Falcon was like 2 years ago. This is from Arabic world. This is from United Arab Emirates. Good model. Back then it was the best. And Bloom is big science on Hugging Face. It's a multilingual, big and good model. So this is price comparison table. And what you can see that Kimi is ridiculously cheap in comparison to others, especially if you look at the out price. So for example, for Claude 4 Opus, you have $75 per million tokens. And here we have only 230. So, well, divide the numbers. So it's huge, huge difference. Good context length. In fact, if you go by API, I believe it can give you 256. Anyway, and Moonshot created a new tool called Muon Clip that enables stable training with 0 crashes, potentially solving a major cost bottleneck in development. So the problem is scaling. When the model gets bigger, it gets more and more difficult to train it and to do inference. So this is major breakthroughs and some trickery invented during developing this model. Next, Grok-4 Reception. Before going this, I want to show the LM Arena leaderboard. And this is overall text, and this is coding. So Grok is here close to the top. Very, very close, in fact. Well, it still lags behind Gemini and OpenAI, but it's up there, right? And this is for coding, and yes, it's behind Gemini, Claude. I love Claude. I use Claude all the time. You see, even Claude Sonnet is better than Grok. The blue ones is Claude. Yellow is OpenAI, and red is Gemini. Now, this new Kimi model, 1 trillion parameters, are also pretty high, you see? And it's open source. And right now, it is the best open source model. Oh, well, here it is on par with the DeepSeek R1, but R1 is a reasoning model. So it was DeepSeek V3, and then they added reasoning on top of it. Kimi is not reasoning yet. When they will add reasoning, I'm pretty sure it will jump up. But let's wait until this will happen, when this will happen. But anyway, about Grok-4 Reception, on one side, great benchmarks, a lot of ability. On the other side, well, let me just read it. So Grok-4 Reception is a mix of awe and apprehension. It is technically formidable, especially in academic and competitive benchmarks, but dodged by ethical, political, practical concerns that limited mainstream and enterprise acceptance. It has no safety protocols, lacks comprehensive safety. That's why enterprises cannot really use it, right? Well, positive reception because of how it behaves, how it answers some question, but not all question. And it's not really better, for example, in coding than other models, as we've seen. And practically, there are good on benchmarks, can effectively search through users' Twitter. It has access to Twitter, to X, which is great. Strong physics simulations, code generation has large context window. Well, the model has 1.7 trillion parameters, so it's big. And the speed is decent, but not very fast. bias. It's definitely biased. It defaults to Elon Musk's positions rather than being neutral. So yeah, next, let's look at Windsurf. So it was a big story. Windsurf developed editor, AI assistant for coding, and they were going into the deal with OpenAI. OpenAI was planning to buy them for $3 billion, but then Microsoft interferes because Microsoft has a contract with OpenAI that whatever OpenAI develops, Microsoft can use it. And but in this particular case, OpenAI resisted. They said, "Well, we're buying the company. This is not what we developed. We're just buying it, and it's know-how, it's intellectual property. Microsoft has no say in that." So this stalled this negotiation, and then after time expired, Google approached and they poached basically top people in Windsurf for a total of $2.4 billion. And then the rest of the company was acquired by Cognition. Cognition is a company behind Devin, which is a very good coding assistant. So now the Windsurf is merged into Devin. Also, Google and Windsurf entered into non-exclusive licensing agreement. It's not exclusive, but Google can use their technology. Financial specifics wasn't made publicly. Okay, this is a plug to my channel. Please pause the video, answer the pinned question, which will be about Claude Code and Cline, or maybe you prefer some other AI assistant. Subscribe to the channel, please, to get notified about the videos. So this is the channel. Next, Comet. Oh gosh, I installed Comet and I love it. Right now I'm using Chrome, but I could have used Comet. In fact, I made Comet my default browser. It supports all Google services. It's like I can use Gmail and Photos and my Google Drive and everything. Very familiar, but Chrome. But I could have used Comet. In fact, I made Comet my default browser. It supports all Google services. It's like I can use Gmail and Photos and my Google Drive and everything. Very familiar, but the difference is that it has built-in. Oh gosh, a second. That's not what I want. Let me. Okay, quit it. So this is how it looks. So the default search is Comet search. And I received it because I paid customer for Perplexity, and Comet is browser from Perplexity. It's supposed to allow you to summarize the videos, and you see group tabs, unused files, whatever, online tasks, shopping, checking your schedule, handling email, calendar. I didn't do these things yet, but well, probably will. So far, I enjoy it. It's really my default browser. Next, energy-based transformers. So this is a very good technology. The idea is that in regular networks, after training they map input to output, whereas in energy-based transformers they don't map in like one step. Instead, they do iterations, and they trying to solve optimization problem. So it's kind of like reasoning. It consumes more tokens. It's more expensive. So the approach is that these EBTs, energy-based transformers, assign an energy value, so some scalar representing unnormalized probability or compatibility, to each input prediction pair, and then use it to select and like do it in a stepwise manner. During inference, EBTs iteratively refine predictions using gradient descent to minimize the energy. This process is analogous to thinking or reasoning. EBTs implement system 2 thinking, slow, analytical, deliberate. So it's more steps, more money, more tokens, but also better performance, better accuracy of the responses. And what's happening as they try to optimize, they basically look at the possible pairs, possible predictions, and they choose the better one. So they combine generation and verification in a single model, right? Okay, they're designed to be agnostic to input modality, so you can use text and vision, show superior scaling properties. They achieve better scaling quality, well, because they're more stable, they're self-verifying, right, what they're producing. They also exhibit better generalization. Okay, this is the paper on archive. Next. LLMs match patterns without understanding. Well, we've seen multiple works proving this over and over again. There was a famous work from Apple, and now yet another work from Harvard and MIT. So they tried to see whether AI models truly understand the world, if they create world models or just memorize patterns. And without going into this, the short answer is no, they do not. They simply match pattern in a very superficial, stupid way. And yes, OpenAI. So OpenAI just released this week something called agent mode. So what it is, you can ask questions which will be answered, or whatever tasks will be run on a virtual computer on OpenAI site. And the tasks, for example, you can ask to parse your emails, generate spreadsheets, create slides, summarizing, whatever, a lot of stuff. You can ask it to go online as you go in your accounts or order tickets or do whatever. But the thing is, they can do it as you. So how they do it? You don't need to provide them your password. What happens is that you've probably seen this happen. They pop up a window. You say you want to go, for example, with your Google account. You authenticate with Google, and Google gives them a token, and then the system uses this security token to do operations temporarily as you. Then OpenAI, of course, also provides a means to schedule things, to automate things. In fact, they have the whole app store for custom agents. But anyway, this is a big thing, what OpenAI now offers. So, for example, what you can do right away if you, like me, Google user, so you're using Gmail, Calendar, Google Docs, and so on, you can just use this agent to do periodic work with all these tools, right? Now, Anthropic doesn't have this, and Google doesn't have this. So OpenAI now ahead of the game, although these other vendors will provide it very soon. They're working on it. Especially if you look at Google, Google Gemini already is integrated into Google Workspace. So it has access to your calendar and emails and docs and spreadsheets and so on. But some other functionality, like for example, go online, browse on your behalf, which is called Project Mariner and, for Google, Google Search, Maps, and so on, they're only coming. They are in works, and it probably will come together in weeks, so maybe a couple of months. I don't know. Anthropic is also working in the same direction. In December, in fact, they were showing very similar thing, how you can, they called it computer use. So again, you had a virtual computer where Anthropic would follow your prompts and do stuff like browsing and so on. But so far, Anthropic has tools to build agents which can do web search, access to MCP, and interact with external productivity tools like Asana, Canva, Figma, and so on. And but doesn't have access to your email, calendar, and so on. But all this is coming. I think they will all be pretty similar in just a few months. Now, talking about app stores for custom agents, so OpenAI has one. Anthropic, they're right now, in fact, next week, they're releasing on Amazon. So Amazon has a marketplace, and Anthropic is a major partner with Amazon. As you know, Amazon invested billions of dollars into Anthropic. So they'll be offering different specialized and generic agents on this Amazon marketplace. Google AI Agent Marketplace already available. Microsoft Azure Marketplace is huge, and many things are available. They're getting ranging from very generic to very technical. And of course, there are many open source and commercial projects like LangChain, CrewAI, and so on, which you can also use to take off the shelf the agent or build your own agent. Next, Meta. Well, this picture, by the way, is the Hyperion data center over Manhattan. So you have Manhattan, and this is the size of this data center when it will be built. And there's another data center. So they are spending a huge amount of money. Prometheus, located in New Albany, Ohio, so it should be in 2026 and deliver more than 1 gigawatt of power. So it's a data center. And then Hyperion should be 5 gigawatt of power consumption. Yes, it's in Louisiana. So this is coming. Another thing Meta is doing is building microkernel operating system. And this is interesting. So Windows operating system, as you know, is quite monolithic. So it has all the internals like operating with disks and memory and CPUs and graphical stuff all together. It's a huge monolith. In comparison, Linux was always designed as consisting of pieces. So you have a kernel which is monolithic, but then you have many utilities. And like, for example, the graphical part is separate, and you can use different graphical parts in the same operating system, right? So you have multiple utilities, core utilities and other utilities. Now, microkernel is when it goes even further. So in Linux, you have kernel, which is monolithic. So now imagine that you take this kernel and you again split it in pieces and have these pieces communicate with each other using different channels, different means. So the same philosophy. So Unix is better than Windows, and microkernel apparently is better than Linux. I don't know why Linux didn't make this leap by themselves. Maybe they will. So here is sort of demonstration. We have Linux with monolithic kernel. We have MetaOS with microkernel style. So it's split in pieces. Next, Thinking Machines Lab. So this is Mira Murati. She used to be a CTO of OpenAI, and then she quit and created her own startup with several other co-founders, which are also her colleagues from OpenAI. So they also left OpenAI. They received recently $2 billion at 12 billion valuation. They were very secretive about what they're doing, but now they are preparing to do first launches in literally they promise in a couple of months. I still don't know what it is, but they're like out of stealth. Graphene AI Tongue. So graphene is a material made of carbon with very special properties, and apparently in Pennsylvania University they were able to make sensors for taste, and they managed to do it by combining graphene materials, some electronic hardware, and AI, large language models. So 98.5% accuracy of known tastes and 75-90% of new ones. So this is great. So you have like artificial tongue. And next, Microsoft Phi 4 mini flash reasoning model. So it's a very small model, 3.8 billion parameters, open source on Hugging Face. Relatively long context for a model of this very small size. And it uses not just a regular transformer, but also Summer layer Samba architecture and gated memory Unix, and it's up to 10 times faster decoding and outperforms prior models. So yeah, this is great achievement, like fast, long context, very small model, and it's open source. Voxtral speech transcription models. So it takes speech and transcribes it in real time. It's open source, Apache license, two sizes, 3 billion and 24 billion parameters. And look at this. This is Gemini Flash 2.5. This is the latest and greatest Google model. And here we have Voxtral. This is 3B and this is 24B. And these are errors. So you see 5% to about 7.5%. So you can achieve errors on the same level as Gemini with just 3 billion parameter models. And by the way, it's also cheaper. And at about the same price, you get much better quality, like less errors. So this is huge achievement. And so if you need to transcribe text, speech to text, just go use Foxtrot. Gemini Robotics On-Device Foundation model. So what we're talking about is a small model which can run on the device, on the robot, and it is low latency for fast responses, which is needed when a robot moves in physical world and can like fall down and so on. And this model can be fine-tuned, so the robot can be taught to do certain actions in as few as 50 demonstrations. So you show the robot how to do it several times, let's say 50 times. It's not tens of thousands times, it's just 50. And now a robot can do it. This is great. So it's a Gemini Google Robotics. Next, LTX-Video, open weights, can produce 60-second video. The model is small, it's 13 billion parameters. They also have 2 billion parameters available on GitHub and Hugging Face. So this is updated to the previous model. Now it generates up to 60 seconds long videos streamed in real time with live prompts control. So as it streams, you can give it prompts and it will change what it shows. So this is great. Muon optimizer. This I told you from Kimi K2 training. Now PyTorch adds it to their library. Oh, Switzerland. This is great. So the government provided computer and money for training, and so they created a national model. So it's a government-sponsored national model which is available for the people. And it is open source, it is Apache licensed, aligned with both Swiss data law and the European AI Act, built for public good, research, education, and civic purposes, transparency and training data, ethical oversight. Well, this is a great role model. This is what other countries should do, right? To provide, to give AI to the people. Next, AWS IDE called Kiro, not sure how to say it. So what it is, they took Visual Studio Code, they made a fork of it, and they modify it. It uses Claude Sonnet 4, but it doesn't support other models like Gemini, Llama, OpenRouter. So they just starting doing, they just released it. It turns your text prompts, docs, diagrams, and images into detailed requirements. And it is AI assistant with maybe emphasis that it can create specs from your descriptions and then follow those specs. Automates repetitive tasks, can use MCP. As it works, you can accept, edit, skips changes, and so on. I don't know, it's kind of similar to Cursor, but now it's coming from AWS. I don't know the quality, it's just being released. And frankly, I still think that Cline is probably what I would choose, because Cline, for example, what we found from like working with Claude, it works and then suddenly it doesn't work, and you change the model like from Opus to Sonnet and it starts working and then it stops working again. So but you can switch to Gemini, or you can switch to OpenAI, or you can switch to many other models, so you always have something that works when Claude becomes too slow or inaccessible. Anyway, Cline system prompt and rules files. So Cline, which I'm talking so much about, it is on GitHub, it's open source. So if I go to the repo, we see 6.3 thousand forks and 47.8 thousand stars, right? So people like Cline, and if you go to this page, so it is system prompt, it's a system.ts TypeScript, right? And here you see the prompt. And I go down, down, down. So this is the prompt it's using when it works with your code. It's embedded in client's code. And by the way, you can modify it in your project. You can create a file called .cline rules, or you can create a directory .cline rules, and then in this directory you can put multiple files. Like for example, one file will be about formatting, another how to document, another how to test, another how to do something else. So you can put multiple files, and it will read those files. It will become part of its prompt, right? You can also create client ignore file, which you start with just taking your git ignore, like from GitHub, right? Git ignore, you copy it into Cline ignore, and then you change it as you want. And why it's important? Because by default, Cline will look at many files in your directory, and maybe some of them are big, and you don't want Cline to look at them, right? So you say to Cline ignore, don't look at this file, like in your data files or some text files or whatever. Okay, so this is important to know and how to use them. Next, AI and learning. I love Derek Muller. He is creator of a YouTube channel called Veritasium, and he talks about learning and about experts. So this is another video which I feature here. And what it comes down to that learning is just a practice of repeating something over and over again. You start with a very uncomfortable situation. Like, for example, you're driving a car, and at first it's very uncomfortable. You don't know what you're doing. But then with practice, it becomes easier and easier to do, and it becomes automatic. And many people, they just stop at that. But if you want to continue to learn, you can challenge yourself. You can put yourself into uncomfortable situation. You can force yourself to do this work, which is maybe you're not interested in, right? Most people just want to stay in the comfort zone. And so this picture I want to illustrate. So if you want to go from A to B, you need to have some information, right? But most important is you have to do your push-ups. You have to use your wing and your engines, and you have to do the work. So the algorithm of learning is just to do the work. Good teachers act like personal trainers who create accountability and social motivation. Motivation is the key. He starts, by the way, he starts this with saying that over the last 100 years, there were new technologies popping up, like radio, television, computers, internet, and every time there was people were saying, "Oh, this will revolutionize education," and no, it doesn't. I mean, it makes delivery of the information easier, but it doesn't substitute for the repeated practice, the hard work of repeating, of doing something over and over again, of hammering it into your brain, into your spinal cord. The expert myth, again, that's a great video. And the idea is that experts are not smarter. Their brains are the same. Their memory is the same. The only difference is that when they looked at subjects for many times, like for example for chess players, they looked at the chessboard, they can recognize things which they've seen multiple times easily, and they can operate with those things they have seen. So it's not knowledge, it's not thinking, it's just memory. They're kind of like LLMs. They're pattern matches. So yeah, this is a great video. And another great video, he talks about prisoner's dilemma. It's Robert Axelrod made famous computer tournaments to see what strategies win, and he is actually in politics, like how governments should behave in order to avoid wars and so on. And the interesting conclusion is that you should be nice. You should not like try to attack people first. You should be forgiving. Yes, if people attack, you should maybe strike back, but after some delay, just give me some doubt and be predictable so others can establish patterns and trust. So again, this is very interesting work. And next, I want to talk about something. It's Dave Ramsey. I love this guy. He talks about how to get out of debt, how to live financially, correctly. And this particular video, he says, well, put yourself on a budget, get out of debt, foster high quality relationships, right? So because you become same as your 5 closest friends, save and invest, and practice generosity. He really believes that what you sow, that's what you get back, and you have to give. And this is kind of the meaning of life. Anyway, this is a great video. Next, about jobs. So we have some cuts in July. Well, the large was from Microsoft, right? 9,000 people. This was an interesting post on LinkedIn. So AWS laid off a lot of DevOps. So these are people who take new developments and put them in production, right? And a lot of this stuff was automated using AI or not. And so the post was saying that after automating most of our infrastructure, around 90% of it, my entire DevOps team was labeled redundant. So this post was staying only for 1 hour. It was removed, but people like made screenshot and so on. Yeah, but this is true. AI automation cause people lose their jobs. It doesn't mean that they will stay unemployed. They just need. That means that this job was very easy to automate, and they need to find educate themselves and find some other job, maybe AI related. Okay, this is me, and thank you.